right, now we're getting into the suicide panel. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see what James Gunn has got cooked up for us on this one. Plus, we've had a lot of reveals, but there's still a lot of speculation to be had. I wonder if we're going to get any answers. Alright, jumping in mid-conversation with James Gunn here answering questions from fans about the Suicide Squad. And I decided to start this up because he did just say we're going to get some answers. So, figure you guys might want to hear what he's got to say.
He's a great guy, Nathan, of course. Been in all my movies. He's already been a friend. Here it comes, the time that so many of you guys have been waiting for. Who is who in the squad? You've heard a lot of the actors that are in this movie. You don't know who they're playing. Maybe you have some good guesses. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. We'll have to see. But here it is. Everything.
You know the deal. Successfully complete the mission, you get 10 years off your sentence.
Welcome to Town Sports X. These are your brothers and sisters for the next few days.
We got a lot of confirmation. Bloodsport is Idris Elba. That was one we didn't know. But everybody else is pretty understandable. Other than they're casting her as Mongol. That's actually Mongol. On the Suicide Squad? Pete Davidson is Blackguard, and Nathan Fillion. Oh. Maybe he is Blackguard. Okay, I read that backwards. But everybody else is just exactly as everybody suspected. One huge cast.
Here we go. We're introducing the cast and the characters they're playing of the Suicide Squad. First of all, we have Idris Elba as Bloodsport, John Cena as Peacemaker, David Jasmalchian as Polka Dot Man, Jai Courtney as Captain Boomerang, Nathan Fillion as TDK.
There you go.
Borg as Javelin. This is like a really messed up Brady Bunch. Ellen Melchior is Ratcatcher 2. Pete Davidson is Blackguard.
Yeah.
Stealing Ing as Mongal. Michael Rooker, unfortunately, is Savant. Had to put him in the movie. Deal with the devil. Peter Capaldi as the Thinker. Sean Gunn is Weasel. Steve Agee is John Economos and our on-set King Shark. Yes. Alicia Braga as Sol Soria.
Ooh.
Juan Diego Bocco is General Presidente Silvio Luna.
Okay.
Real
Alright.
good guy. Joel Kinnaman is, of course, Rick Flag.
Right.
Viola Davis is Amanda Waller.
We knew that.
And, of course, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
And there's the big star. Alright. We finally have confirmation for all of the cast.
Are you excited to be a part of DC Fandome?
It is about time.
We're excited. This is going to be great.
No more speculation.
We're going to have some competition, which is not fun.
I'm going to turn this up just a little bit and let them handle the rest of this part of the show.
I think it only makes sense that we have the people in charge of the Suicide Squad, Viola Davis, and Joel Kinnaman as our team leaders. And why don't you guys go ahead and let's pick teams.
Bloodsport.
Thanks, bud. Thanks.
Definitely.
All right, I'll take my girl, Harley Quinn.
All right.
Yay!
I will take Savant.
Oh, good for you. What a pick.
That is a bad pick. That is. And you guys have scenes together too. I can't believe you made that mistake.
You just made a big mistake.
John Cena. I'll take John Cena.
I want to reassure you that is a horrible decision.
No, I already know that.
I'm going to take my boy, King Shark.
Okay, I will take my man Boomer, Ty Courtney.
All right.
Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher 2.
Ratcatcher 2, yeah, don't forget that.
I will take
Oh, jeez.
Flula
I have a
Ford.
feeling that this movie is gonna be a whole lot of fun.
I'm going to take Polka Dot Man.
Thank you. Yes.
And he's wearing polka dots.
Oh, good man.
That's not on Rooker's team. Yeah. Is that everybody?
Out of names.
What's we really feel really bad.
There's what?
There's only
So
one left.
sad. It feels like high school, Ken.
Did someone...
This is what it was like. The basketball.
Yeah,
Great idea.
I'll pick the thinker.
Nathan Fillion, already. DJ.
Sol Soria.
El Presidente.
Okay, yes, what about Mongo?
Yeah, picked by Joel.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
This is sad. Victory cigarettes.
Oh, man. Yeah, okay. I was going to pick Black Card. Okay.
That went well. I think that went really well.
I think I'm really happy with who everybody is playing, to be honest with you. Other than I don't understand how Mongol is a part of the Suicide Squad. Unless it's actually like Mongol's daughter, who isn't canonically as strong as Mongol, but there's no way that Mongol would ever end up on the Suicide Squad.
There's a multiple choice.
Somebody holler back at me if I'm wrong, though.
Out of all the squad members, who are the only characters to have had their own comic series? There's two of them. And I'm gonna list four options. A, Harley Quinn and King Shark. B, Harley Quinn and Amanda Waller. C, Harley Quinn and Peacemaker. Or D, Harley Quinn and Boomerang. Which two have had their own series?
Harley Quinn and Boomerang.
Harley Quinn and Peacemaker.
Boom! Yes! Yes! Correct! Wow!
Even look good. Even I knew that.
Man, it's awesome.
Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man! Again?
It's Sean Gunn.
Weasel versus Polka Dot Man. Old friends.
I want a softball.
Oh, yeah, you have a special guest.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Hola. ¿Cómo están? How are you? I've got a question. What career military man probably wishes he'd never followed in his dad's footsteps?
Joaquin, the great Coachy Loco.
Rick Flag Jr.
I had Super Grover. Is Super Grover? It's not Super Grover.
Wrong, Sean.
Junior.
You're wrong. Wrong canon.
What's for creativity?
Now, there's no multiple choice. You just got to answer right away, and you have to have it be the right choice.
Okay.
Who has more tattoos, Harley Quinn or Pete Davidson?
Harley Quinn? No,
Hey, Margo gets another point.
I was thinking about this character. Oh, this is a language. This is a mistake.
That's always your answer when something goes wrong. Who's next? Suicide Squad?
I thought it was the Suicide Squad.
No, it's Task Force X.
Mayling dying over there.
There's extremely.
Task Force X.
Yes. There we go. There we go. See, Mei-Ling knew.
I can't say that even if I knew the answer.
You said it. You say it in the movie. Some of these are too easy. Hey, can we go to like one of our secret guest questions?
Hey guys, which
Jennifer
team
Holland
member would you
is
sacrifice
Amelia
first?
Earhart.
Correct answer.
Harcourt? I don't know who that is.
Are you serious?
Is that what you said, Steve? What's the answer, Jen?
I would have to go with Savant because he's played by Michael Rooker, and if anyone here has ever had to spend a day working with Michael Rooker, I think they'd probably have the same answer.
You know what? People are always like that. They always want to get rid of the most dangerous one first. Yeah, I understand where this is coming from.
All right, we're going to have Flula versus Elise. Oh, boy! Which character made his or her first full appearance in Superboy number 9 in 1994? A. Mongal. B. King Shark. C. Bloodsport. D. The Thinker.
May I ask a question, Mr. Gunn?
Oh, no. Yeah.
When you say full appearance, does this mean like everything was exposed? Is it...
The character was not fully exposed. No, the character had some items of clothing on.
Got it. Then I would answer King Sharky.
I was going to say B.
B. King Shark. How did you guys know that?
Oh, I said King Sharky. That's incorrect. So,
Okay, so it goes to Elise.
yeah, sorry. Jeopardy rules, guys. Pronounce it right.
Like not even crushing it.
Wait, he doesn't get that?
You can't just give away the point.
You can fool. You can't give away your point, dude.
Why not? I give away snacks at lunch.
Hey.
Even on your team?
Yeah, Flula's on my team.
What are we doing right now? What's happening?
You keep complaining.
He's not on our team? Oh, never mind.
You're on Viola's
Thank
team.
you.
Rook, wait, I'm not on Rooker's team?
I thought you were on my team, too.
Oh.
No, you're not on my team.
Okay. Wait. We have another special question. Why don't we do the last special question?
Hi guys, so now I have a serious question for you guys. I'm going to test your smarts. Who shot Superman? Was it J.R. Ewing, Peacemaker, Bloodsport, Amanda Waller? Let me know.
That is Storm Reed.
My daughter.
Which of your characters
My
is
daughter.
in prison for shooting Superman?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
That's correct. Bloodsport is in prison for shooting Superman.
With the Krypton.
Storm Reed turns in an amazing performance in the film and some of the most memorable.
The only real
sequences.
true nerd in the room is staying quiet on every question so he doesn't stand out as the only nerd in the room. That's hilarious.
Is there anybody left? Pete, who's left? Against two.
Lula.
Oh, great!
Okay.
Who will lose first, Pete?
What comic book series did the Suicide Squad debut in? A. The
W.
Brave and the Bold. B. The Bold and the Beautiful. C. The Bravest of the Bold. Or D. Time to Die Hard.
Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold.
You got it right.
Pete, you did it!
Idris Elba, Bloodsport, versus Mei-Ling, Mongal. Okay, question. Which character... Oh, this isn't fair. Oh, well. Question. Which character goes into the mission...
Alright, so I did just have to look that up. I'm not familiar with it, but that is Mongal, not Mongol. So it is Mongol's daughter. And that makes total sense, I guess.
A condition.
All the dog can do, I mean, he's got hundreds of weapons on him.
Well, it's just one weapon. It's polka dots.
I'm not familiar with her power set, but I don't know. It just seems like she'd be able to...
Different kinds of weapons.
Seems like she wouldn't have to worry about Task Force X putting a bomb in her neck.
I was editing a scene yesterday, Idris, and I noticed for the first time that
side of a wall in your mandals. Well, he always was. I guess he was always wearing his mandals in that scene. I just never noticed till yesterday.
Danielle, you love those mandals, don't you, Danielle?
Okay, who's next? If given a chance, which superhero would your character like to take down?
Oh.
It's not about taking anybody down. It's about trying to bring yourself up. You know, it's some positive vibes.
Fucking John Cena.
I'm going to vote for John. That's it.
Which new addition to the squad was the biggest surprise to you?
I think Weasel was the biggest surprise. You're going to expect him to be this crazy animal. He can't even. I mean, come on.
Wait till you see Weasel in action in the movie.
How is the movie? How does it look?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, really, truly, it's just the most fun I've ever had. I love the movie. The studio is overwhelmingly happy with the movie.
Wow.
It's just, the action is great. It's funny. And it's really dramatic in the right places and very touching. It's great. And all of you guys, I mean, just down the line, it's just the greatest cast I've ever worked with by far. Just every single person is amazing. It's just a once in a lifetime thing for me. It was a blast to make, and it's just cutting together just completely fluidly. I've got to say, I'm so grateful to all of you guys except for Rooker.
Why is it? What is Rooker happens to be one of my favorite actors, like, ever, because he's so good.
They made it digital for you, so we don't even have to look at you on the cutting room floor.
I just got to say, what an amazing experience it was. Both to you and all these guys. You know, the atmosphere on that set was so positive and such a warm, wonderful, supportive place to be. You know, not everybody has been in a big superhero movie, even if they've been Doctor Who or anything like that. So to walk onto a set like that can be quite intimidating. But the welcome that you and everybody here provided was just fantastic. So thank you, everybody here, for that.
The majority of the cast has been pretty quiet. Margot Robbie really hasn't spoken out at all.
So the showdown champion,
Few other people have remained quiet.
We haven't been keeping very good score. Is Viola Davis's team.
She looks so different with brown hair.
I have a little something special in store for you, which we have you guys right now, and everybody out there in the DC Fandome universe are going to be the first to see a little behind-the-scenes action from the Suicide Squad.
Behind-the-scenes action. Alright, well, I will let you guys listen to it.
You kind of sit there and go, how did they do that?
It's going to be different from any superhero movie ever made.
There's no one better in the world to direct the Suicide Squad than James Gunn.
I was excited with an opportunity to be able to do the Suicide Squad in the way it could be done from my point of view.
This one is completely unique. This is a gritty 1970s war movie combined with brilliance of James Gunn's characters and comedy.
You directly set the vibe.
The Suicide Squad is this kind of twisted fantasy of characters.
Within each of our characters, there's a certain beauty. Within most of them. Some of them are just pretty crappy through and through.
You're like a douchey Captain America.
The guy who believes in peace at any cost, no matter how many people he needs to kill along the way.
Okay, I got it.
Never settle back like you think you know where this is going, because you know, as soon as you have some sense about what's about to happen next, James comes in. Everyone's exploding genitals, heads, arms, legs.
It's like a big, massive, graphic novel brought to life.
By far the biggest movie I've ever made.
I don't think that you know what to expect.
Don't get too attached. This has been truly the greatest, most exciting journey of my life making this film. everybody to see The Suicide Squad in theaters all the way in August 6th, 2021. We're still working on it, but man, I am so excited for everybody to see it, and I am grateful for everyone out there in the DC universe who came and checked out and hung out with us for a little while and saw this train wreck that would have gone perfectly smoothly if not for Michael. So, thank you guys.
Way to go, Viola, and your team for the win! Ça va, DC Fandome? I'm Terry LTM, your French host, and I've got a big admiration for James Gunn and the cast. What a great teamwork. Now I'm even more excited for the Suicide Squad movie than before. How about you? Tweet us at #DC Fandome. And next, we have a very special DC fan guest with a question for Idris Elba. Yann, mon fils, take it away.
Idris, you're a sport fan. What kind of training did you do for your role in the Suicide Squad?
Okay, so hi Gael, Idris. So yes, I am a sports fan. I am a fan of all sports, but I played basketball, football, cricket, hockey as a kid, and then as an adult I did kickboxing and a little bit of boxing. When I was training for this film, because there was a lot of work that we had to do, I basically didn't do a sport. I did a sort of general training package, which was more centered around my kickboxing training. So that's lots of circuits, lots of cardio work, a little bit of weight training to get those big muscles up, and yeah, essentially working on that particular film, the work rate was so high, we were training every day on the job. So that's me.
Turns out Gael isn't the only tennis player who is a massive DC fan. Now let's check in with two other mega fans who, like us, share a mutual love for Wonder Woman: tennis star Venus Williams and director Patty Jenkins.
Venus Williams, I'm so psyched that I get to meet you. It's amazing. It's so funny because here I am making Wonder Woman, and I'm constantly inspired by the different Wonder Women in the world, and you're like a quintessential one.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you too. Congratulations. You look amazing. I love your style, but more than anything, I love your work.
Thank you.
To talk to you about it, so I've got questions.
I know, me too. So I love the fact, it's very funny because now has come this time that I'm getting to make the Wonder Woman film, but there are so many people like both of us who grew up looking at Wonder Woman, and I don't think that people understood the significance of who she was in the world. So I would love to hear, I'm so interested that you are a Wonder Woman fan too, and what's your history? How did you get into her?
Yeah, so for me, I grew up on Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, right?
Oh yeah.
She was beautiful, and she could do anything, and she saved the world, and that, for me, was my first introduction to Wonder Woman, and it was so iconic. And then after that, actually, I was more introduced to Linda Carter as Wonder Woman, and then on to DC Comics. So actually, Wonder Woman was my first introduction into comics at all. And it really just started there.
If you had to create a superhero, what would you add to the party?
I gotta say, I was just talking to Jim Lee, and we created a superhero named, ironically enough, I can't believe no one thought of this, Venus.
That's amazing.
So this superhero, she is antimatter and, the monitor and the anti-monitor, so she's somewhere in between and lives in the space between matter and antimatter. We just started talking and creating this character, so I think that's it.
I love the sound of that. And I also love, it's funny that we've had so few, there are plenty of great female superheroes, but so few of them have risen to a huge amount of focus. And I like that adds this whole other thing to the party, like many other the male superheroes have branched out to all of these different dimensions. That's a great one to bring forward.
I think so, and I think in my head, to me, there's good and bad in her. So she's trying to always stay towards the good, but she has tendencies.
It's been interesting, kind of modeling power and grace and beauty yourself. How has been taking on that role yourself in this world been?
I really just try to be my best.
Yeah.
Be who most of all, I want to be proud of who I am and what I do when I look back and not cringe and say, my God, did I do and say that? That's not the memory I want. Yeah. And I look back and be proud of how I've handled all of my moments. And in doing that, it's motivating to others. And you never know what's going to be motivating someone else. And there's so many things that have motivated me that other people have done. They never even knew that they touched my life. And so just by the simple act of being positive, allowing the wins and the losses and the tough spots to just roll off of you. You never know who's watching, who you inspire. And quite obviously, Wonder Woman does inspire lots of women in that sense.
Yeah, and you do too, and that's another thing is like, what I like is Wonder Woman always surprised me, you know? She always surprises me by not having to be showy about her power and not having to be belittling or not having to be all these things that we sort of saw power meaning. You're kind of defying all of these things now as an entrepreneur because we all knew of you as a great tennis player, but then you've turned around and like started this amazing clothing line.
Yeah, there really is no limit. And with my activewear brand 11 by Venus, that is honestly the value of it is that you're going past the 10. You don't set a limit.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Being well, being positive, all those things help you to get past your limits. So you do have to take care of yourself so you can get there. And we always say better, not best. So best is a moment. I won Wimbledon at some point, but then maybe I didn't win the next year and someone else was the best at that moment. But if you're always going for better, then you're constantly transcending that moment. Best.
That's really cool. I love 11. I got a chance to sneak peek your Wonder Woman inspired line, which is so awesome. And here's what I like about it so much. And it's funny because it doesn't surprise me that it came from you at all. When I first came to the Wonder Woman brand, people either wanted to go too hard or too soft. It was like, is she masculine or is she feminine? And it was an interesting thing that it was when a bunch of women showed up that we were kind of like, no, it can be both. So I love that you as a designer are, of course, like speaking my language of like, oh, that's got such edge and awesomeness to us, but to everybody, but it's not leaning, it's not about being a woman or a man.
I agree with you. Women are powerful and men are powerful too. So you don't have to try to be either or. Yeah. We all have an innate power in ourselves.
So how did you approach the line?
I really wanted to do something that really represented Wonder Woman, but in a less traditional sense. Yeah. So it's away from the red, white, and blues, but focused on cars. And especially with, of course, Linda Carter, I'm inspired by that. And I have to say, every time I design an outfit for the Olympics, it's designed after Wonder Woman. So I have like this inspiration behind it. And every 4 years, this outfit that I wear is inspired by Wonder Woman. But this time I wanted to stick with the symbolism of her. And not really that color palette. So that's how we came up with this sparkling star, black and white. Anyone can wear black and white, and there's gold in it as well. And then these elements of surprise and wonder. And so we have these crystals with the amazing Wonder Woman crest.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
I think we talked about this already, but your first memory of Wonder Woman and kind of, well, you can talk about that, but also like connect that memory of Wonder Woman to where you are now. Film.
Yeah.
What's that feel like? And does it feel full circle? Because to me, it feels like something you were meant to do.
Here's what's interesting about it. So my first memory of Wonder Woman is my mom never let us watch TV, and or alternately, we didn't have a TV. So I saw it at a friend's house, and I just remember just like the catnip zeroing in on it, and immediately the thing that it turned into was the role play on the schoolyard. I was in elementary school, and everybody would play who they were. And I remember it became imperative to get out onto the yard first so that you could declare you were Wonder Woman. So all these years later, when it became something I got to do, there were lots of Wonder Woman fans, but it was very important to me that whoever did the movie was a fan. And I I was. So I found myself in this situation where it's both totally surreal that you get to be the one to do it after having a childhood connection. On the other hand, I was like, well, I don't know who else is a fan here trying to direct this movie, but I know that I am. So I'm happy that it's somebody who can be a guardian of that legacy, you know. And that was the first thing I did was call Linda Carter. And I called Linda and I said, you're going to read in the trades that we're doing a new Wonder Woman, and I want you to know we're not here to reinvent Wonder Woman or redesign Wonder Woman. I simply want to take the torch of something you gave to me and pass it forward to the kids of the next generation and people of the next generation. And so I want to continue that. She's been a dear friend ever since, but it was about kind of honoring
we saw that
legacy.
Earlier.
Okay, so why do you think that it's important to not only have real but fictional role models that are like Wonder Woman?
My mother is a feminist and like really shielded me in a way from a belief that I would hit limits. And so I feel like between the Wonder Womans of the world and the way that I grew up, nobody was ever telling me I couldn't. And I was seeing, so I was able to look at other women in the world doing incredible things. And, you know, athletes and actresses and, you know, scientists and all of these things and think like, oh, okay, cool. I wasn't focusing on that it wasn't possible. I always thought it was perfectly possible. It took many years for me to see how far behind we still were in so many ways. And that's too bad. But I think that that's always been my goal, is to be a part of, like, let's not fight and let's not justify and do all those things. Let's just assume, of course, it's possible that all of these people can do so many things. So it is the seeing it and seeing people like you out in the world doing incredible things that, of course, makes it seem attainable to other people.
I love that. I feel like we grew up in the same home.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to say can't. You were in major trouble if you said that. We weren't really allowed to watch TV unless it was educational programs. So I think we have a lot of stories. Stories we can share.
I know.
In the multiverse, you live right there too, but just another planet.
Yeah, exactly. I think that your parents, or of course I faced a lot of blocks, but it wasn't like I wasn't thinking there was going to be sexism that held me back at all. I was absolutely just propelling forward. And so I think that's where, like, having an idealized world and being raised in a place where you believe that sort of thing is possible makes a big difference of, like, you can do things. And so, yeah, modeling it for kids and people is amazingly important.
Extremely important. What do you think sets Wonder Woman apart from other superheroes?
I think it's her moral hopes for mankind. I can't think of any other superhero who, I think a lot of them who have great morality, of course, and lots of complex things, but someone whose mission even is to make mankind better. She's not perfect or above it either. So her own struggles to figure out how to use her power and be helpful is so interesting to me. I loved graphic novels right from the start because I loved Little Nemo and Slumberland, and I would look at all of these graphic novels, and then I loved superheroes, so I transitioned pretty easily over to sometimes comic books, sometimes more highbrow, you know, comic book art books and things, and it came quite naturally.
I think you touched on something earlier too, where you talked about you didn't know what blocks she would face.
Yeah.
And I think that happens with Wonder Woman too, that she doesn't know what she's going to face. How were you able to deal with some of the things that you faced on your road to where you are now? And what advice would you give for women who want to follow in your footsteps? And I hate saying women, because if you're a director, you should be the best director. If I'm a tennis player, I should be one of the best tennis players to ever play. Why should I have to be singled out for these other things? So regardless,
I agree with
how the
that.
world looks at us, and we know that women do face more challenges to get to the top. So what is your advice, and how did you feel when you faced those roadblocks? How did you get through them?
It was after I was successful, actually. After I had made Monster that I started to see, I'm a woman director. Oh, I wasn't thinking about that. And all of a sudden I started to see limitations or hopes or wants or expectations on me because of that. And that was when it really surprised me. It's because I thought, I wasn't thinking about being a woman. I'm just a director. Yes, I make movies starring women, but we're not women films. We're just making films. Almost Wonder Woman-like. I've always tried to say, that's their problem. Like, this is their problem. I'd love to help you with it by surprising you with what I can do. But I have to focus on what I'm doing over here and do the best job I can while you get over your expectation of what people can do, I can't be bothered. And I want to always be a part of the voice of change in as big of a way as I can. But also not let that get in your head. So I try to just aim to be end-minded, you know?
Last questions from my end is, let's talk about the Amazons and Wonder Woman and how amazing that they look in their outfits and how boss they are. I love all of that. Can we talk about, like, Stone Women costumes and all of that?
There are many set patterns for doing warfare and competition, but they all are very specifically masculine, which you don't really think about until you start trying to design it, and the fighting is, like I said, headbutting and, you know, so getting into what they would do, what competition would be, how it would work, and what kind of clothing they would wear. It's not unlike you and how you dress and the things that you design, where it's like they don't need to be sexed up in an inconvenient way, but they also wouldn't not care about what they look like. They also care and have ownership in what they're thinking that what they're putting on is both functional and cool. It's a fun thing to try to represent an entire world in this incredible tribe of Amazons. It reminds me of the kind of sports I've watched you do, so that makes me so happy.
Stay in touch. I love this whole conversation.
I do.
We're in the same home.
I know, and I mean it when I say, like, it's so funny because I really do sit around and talk about what Amazons are and what Wonder Woman is, and you literally are out there in this world walking around, like, demonstrating it all the time. And that's what's so cool is, like, being the director of it, sometimes people will say, I've never seen a movie like that before. And I'm like, yeah, but you see the women. You've seen the women. You've seen people like you, so it's interesting that it's such an unusual thing. So nice
She's
to
got
meet
an
you.
interesting
What
point
a pleasure.
there.
What a pleasure. Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
All right, that was the end of that interview. And I will be back later on for the surprise DC Comics panel, carrying over through the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, the possibly the Flash TV panel, but I'll definitely be back for the Black Adam and the Titans as well. There's lots more to come, so make sure you stick around and come on back to my Patreon. Patreon.com/Not a Robot Podcast. You can get access to these for as cheap as $1 a month. See you there.